If you're an EFL teacher who works with kids, you may already be using storybooks in your lessons, yet they can be an added plus or a huge flop. In this video, I'll tell you some tips for reading books in other languages to children that will change your lesson. So stick around. Hi, I'm Adriana. Welcome back to my channel where you can find tips and tricks for teaching English to young learners. Reading a book to children in a foreign language is not the same as reading in their native language. Because they don't understand all of the words that you're saying, the risk of losing their attention is really high. Here's how you can change a passive activity into an active one. First of all, keep it simple. Make sure that your stories either have one character and various settings, or one setting and a few characters. Don't go overboard on the amount of characters or the amount of settings that the story has, because that will make it that much more difficult for the kids to follow. Make sure you choose a story that the kids are already familiar with. And before you read, make sure you go through the book looking at the pictures and having the kids tell you what's going on in their own language. This is a way of kind of adding subtitles, if you wish, to the story so that when they hear it in the second language, everything is now familiar. Don't worry about the words that are actually written on the page. Make up your own text as you go along. Make sure to use your voice. Use your voice for different characters. Now remember, you won't have that many characters, so you don't have to worry about having so many voices. But it is important that every character has a voice. Make sure also that you use your voice. If something is very big, your voice is going to be very strong. And when you see something very small, your voice will also become very small. Another thing that kids really like and helps, I think, when you read is having loop phrases. And by loop phrases, I mean phrases that get repeated over and over again. For example, if I'm reading a story about a little boy who's walking through the garden and he comes upon a carrot, a flower, and a rock, whenever you come to those items, introduce a loop phrase, something that the person will always say. For example, oh my, what do I see? It's a carrot. And it's for me. And then put it into a pocket or something. And then you come to a flower. Oh my, what do I see? It's a flower. And it's for me. And into your pocket. And so on and so forth. So that whenever you come to something new and you use that loop phrase, the kids know what to expect. And you'll find that after a while, they will even be using that loop phrase with you. Here's another tip. Use a lot of gestures when you tell your story. Invite the kids to make those gestures with you, whether they are throwing your hands up in the air or standing up or searching for something. Make sure your gestures are exaggerated, and if they do them with you, remember that gestures help children internalize words that they don't understand. So the more they do the gestures, connect and say the word at the same time, the more they'll learn that word. I also suggest standing up when you tell your story. If you stand up, you're actually able to use your whole body. That means you can walk really quickly, you could walk slowly, you could crouch down, you could look up, you can really use all of your body, and you can move around as you read your book. Because remember that if you're moving around, the kids will have their eyes on you and they'll be following your every movement. And if their eyes are on you, it's much less likely that you'll lose their attention. Have puppets for each character. Now remember, you're not going to have a lot of characters, so you don't have to go crazy with your puppets. But, hi Pietro, stay away from hand puppets. The reason for that is because putting them on and off is going to be a hassle and it's going to waste time. So, bye-bye. Don't worry about having a real puppet. You can use something as simple as a ping pong paddle with an image of your characters, so that when the character speaks, you just hold up your ping pong paddle, and if you need to, you just turn it around for the other person to speak. So with a very simple twist of the wrist, you're able to show who is speaking. Make sure you have props available as you read, especially if you're reading to younger children or toddlers, for example. In order to internalize new words, younger children or children who have not yet developed language, or I should say children who are not yet speaking, so mainly toddlers, but not always, it could be older children. These children need to actually be holding something. They need to have their hands on a three-dimensional item, like for example this carrot. When you talk about the carrot, they need to do that in order to internalize the words. So make sure you have your props. So when you're talking about carrots and rocks and flowers or whatever it is that's in your book, have those props available for the younger children to look for them and find them. Older children, however, could become part of the story if you hand each child a different prop. So, okay, this kid has the carrot, this one has the flower, and etc. And as you read the story, when you come to the carrot, then the carrot kid can stand up, show his carrot, and then sit down again. And then the flower child will stand up, show the flower, and so on and so forth. So these children are not just passive listeners to the story, they are actually part of the story. All of these tips used together will help your children weave together the story that you're telling, even if they don't understand every single word. Now, research has shown that the younger a child is when they learn a second language, the better. In fact, knowing more than one language has benefits that go way beyond just communicating. And if you want to know more about that, make sure to check out the video that's on your screen right there. I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching.